Yo, people, welcome back to the YouTube channel. You already know what time it is. It's time for another episode of All You Can Eat Chelsea, episode 192 of All You Can Eat Chelsea. I just had to quickly double check because it's been so many episodes now and it's been so many days since the last recording and since I uploaded in general that I had to have a double look. And thank you again for the support as we've now crossed, obviously, the big milestone. The boys, we've been talking just prior to recording. They've been congratulating me, which is much appreciated, and kind of, giving me advice about how we kick on from here. And yeah, like I said, in the stream that I did when we hit it, this was the dream. And now I have to make new dreams. Do you know what I mean? I have to make new dreams and make new content for you guys. But whilst doing that, we've still got, a show that has been here since 2021. I went back and checked the first episode with just me, Miz and Unice, and wow. That was around the time Lampard was sacked a little bit. Around that time, I think we were a couple episodes deep at that point. He was sacked after a game against Luton in the FA Cup, if you remember, after a Leicester defeat as well in the Premier League. And then Tuchel comes in.
Mount captain, Mason Mount captain.
Yeah, Mount captain. So I actually went back and listened to that episode, and wow, it's crazy. The start to here is absolutely insane. But Miz, brother, start with you. How are you feeling? How are you doing, bro? It's good to see you again.
Bro, since the start of this show, I just realized I had another kid. I had another kid since the start of this show. So I had my son, and then since this started, I had another kid. So that's how crazy long this has been going for. And it's been fantastic, bro, being part of it since the birth of it has been great. And congratulations on 100K as well. And
thank you, brother.
Yeah, bro. You talk about new dreams, bro. Your new dreams. It gotta be big, bro. It gotta be big. It's not 100K anymore, bro. You're gonna go places, bro. So I'm just glad to be part of this journey with you. So this is fantastic, bro.
Appreciate it, brother. Appreciate it. Baba, brother, how are we doing today? How are we feeling? How you doing?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. So good to see you reach the milestone. But as I always say, the top of a mountain is the bottom of another one. So I never want my brothers to settle after a milestone or take it easy, be complacent, because now I think it's time to work even harder. Yeah. So I'm sure you will do it. And I feel really happy when the people that I work with and all my fellow content creators and all my brothers reach new heights. So yeah, it's really good to see all of us growing together. And yeah, man, it's been a privilege, to be honest, Matisse. I want to thank you to make me a part of this awesome show. And all of my friends or all of the people who follow Chelsea in India, they are like, oh, is Matisse your friend? Please, can I get in touch with him? I want to discuss with him. And can you please share his number with me? So there is something to blackmail you with, Matisse, maybe. If we ever have a scrap in future, so maybe that is something I can
have 100 new contacts.
But something that happened to that Raj guy, yeah.
Oh my!
Matisse's number is out there.
Oh my God!
Let's
not even tempt these people.
I'm impersonating Matisse and spreading all kind of shit on WhatsApp. But jokes apart, I feel really happy, bro, and. Just like you, I hope the club also grows and goes from strength to strength.
Yes, please let this next period be more successful, please. More happy times, less in the mud. Javon, brother, welcome back. Good to see you again. I know you and Miz were actually ill this week as well, so good to see you guys recovering and feeling a bit better. How are you doing today, brother?
Good, bro. I'm good, bro. But firstly, I want to say, up yourself, my friend. Bless up, bro. Out there without fear. You see me, my bro. Congratulations, bro.
Thank you, man.
I'm really happy for you. I know I joined the show late, but I've been watching all this time, so I know your content. I know you do good work. And again, bro, like I said in the one-on-one, current fierce voice at Chelsea. See you on TalkSport. See you all over the place. So we're just here to support, bro. And congrats again, man. It's a milestone. I don't know if I'll ever reach that milestone. I don't know. We will miss.
Right, honestly, that's exactly what I said. That's exactly what I said when I hit 1K. So you just saying the same thing I said, so you can.
Oh, Javon, you never know, bro.
Bro, I'm telling you, it's exactly the same thing I said. I remember when we was making Twitter videos, me and Miz, and the fact that you just said the face, I never accept it because I don't want all that responsibility. I'm sure there's plenty of other Chelsea fans that will speak on behalf as well. But I remember when me and Miz were doing the Twitter videos and everyone was like, oh my God, look at this person up here doing all this face of this. And I don't, now, yeah, I mean, now I might be that person they might be pointing at. I don't know. But yeah, man, it's a pleasure to even get the opportunities, to be honest. But as I always say to the people, we're always going to come home. We have those away days. Do you know what I mean? We kick ball, we go and play, but we definitely come home. And this week I just took a little bit of a gap to just let it sink in and really savor it, because yeah, I needed to just reflect on everything. And it was a good week, man. But now we're back.
We're back. But where's Younes? Well, we're here to hear from the wonderful wise man himself. Let's hear what he's got to say in the clip coming up.
Man like Matisse, listen, how's it all going? I hope all of you are well on All You Can Eat Chelsea. Listen, I know I'm not there this week. I will be there in 3 weeks. It's international break, so I'm off on international break. But I know it's a special episode that you guys are doing, and I do want to send a message in because Matisse has hit 100k. So Matisse, my man, huge congratulations. Welcome to the Silver Play Button Club. And listen, make sure you get that ordered ASAP so you can put that in your background as soon as possible. But as soon as I'm back, I will be joining the firm once again. After international break is said and done, I'll be back on the streams with you guys. But I'm about to go and enjoy international break on my own international break. And I hope all of you are doing well. Big up to Miz, Javon, Baba as well, and everyone in the chat and everyone that's watching. Congratulations again, Matisse. Lots of love, and I'll see you lot soon.
Much appreciated from Younes. Wonderful, kind words there. Very moving, very touching. Well, whilst the OG of the community is away, the cats will play. So the young YouTubers that we are, the carnage will commence. Let's get into the video. Let's get into the episode.
And we're back talking Chelsea. Obviously, thank you to everyone on this panel for the commitment over the years to actually be, consistent, because that's what makes this a show. You know, I mean, we can have a great episode, and then, if we can't do it every week, then people will forget it quickly. Same goes for London Club's Carnage, which we used to do on here. Everybody on that panel, Battle of North, everybody on that panel when we used to do that show as well. And obviously all the collabs that we've done over the years, from like Sam and Maze in the previews to Damian and Anita on the reviews to, the editors, Max, Tabs, Alex as well, when he was doing graphics. So, and everybody that's been on there once, twice, 3 times, it's been a long road. It's been a long road. But speaking of long roads, Chelsea, we're in our last international break before March, I think the next one. So there's going to be a long run of games, a lot of watch-alongs, a lot of content. So everybody's just recharging, I'd assume, because it's about to get real serious right now. And I don't know. I mean, there's quite a few topics circulating around. There's quite a few conversations to be had. But I guess it's a good opportunity to do like a mini review of the situation right now where we're at. First of all, I guess a basic question to everybody on here, and obviously the comments when you're listening back. Are you happy right now with Chelsea? Are you happy? Are you feeling better? Because I know last season, if I had asked this question at this time of the year, it would have been a resounding no. So Miz, I'll start with you, bro.
Yeah, I am happy. This is a question that everyone seems to be asking. I think it's quite relevant. I think it's quite apt. I am happy. How can you not be happy, Matisse? We're third. Yeah, okay. We are in same points as 4 other teams. I think we're a point away from the 9th place, if I'm right, or 3 points away, or 4 points away from Man United, who are 13. Overall, I'm happy. However, as I said, the points gap isn't that much. So, is this a false happiness? Is this a true happiness? That's, I guess, the biggest discussion point. This is why after the international break, it's so crucial. The matches we've got coming up, Matisse, is very favorable for us. And in order for us to solidify our position that we have and solidify this feeling of happiness and make it very true, as opposed to this false sense of security, maybe. It's very important after this international break that we get back into winning ways and consistent winning ways. From the last international break till this international break, there was a lot of tough fixtures. All right, there was Liverpool, there was Newcastle, there was Man United, there was Arsenal. The way I look at it, and this is where a lot of people probably found it a bit difficult through that period, is that we should be beating big teams. We should be beating big teams. The way I look at it is maybe Maresca in his first season so far has probably been safety first, maybe just safety first. And perhaps now that those fixtures are done and we're moving into the next phase of, as I said, favorable fixtures, hopefully we get to now capitalize. So I'm happy, but interesting times ahead, Matisse. Very, very interesting times. And things can change rapidly. You're 1 week happy with the biggest smile, the biggest dial, and then the next week you could be in the mud if you're not capitalizing. So let's see what we can do, bro. That's how I feel.
Yeah, because I think obviously in the cup competitions, Baba, cup allows fine margins to kind of change your emotions very rapidly. A penalty shootout in the Champions League final, you can go from being distraught to being absolutely elated. Do you know what I mean? And we felt both sides of that with Moscow and Munich. But in the league, there's an opportunity to not have that instant switch of emotion because there is such a long campaign. There is an opportunity to bridge gaps. And that's obviously what Miz is hinting at that we should be doing in the upcoming fixtures. But yeah, I mean, I guess for you, if we were like 3 points better off, it would be incredible, right? But if we were 3 points worse off, how would you feel, I guess? Would it just be, you would still hold the same context of we're not far away from where we need to be, right?
Exactly what I was about to say. If a couple of teams, let's say if Newcastle wins one of their games that they had lost, or Spurs didn't lose against Ipswich, we would have not been having this conversation in terms of us having a good start, right? Because we'll be languishing 6th or 7th in the table, and with the same number of points that we have right now in the same number of games.
Would it be that conversation? Do you think? Do you think the fan base would be a bit different right now if we?
Yeah, because we have the most volatile and reactionary fan base that there is. 1 week we are praising Madueke, the next week when he does not passes the ball, he's the worst player on the pitch. 11 games into the season, we highly miss the context that apart from these players being young, the manager is also quite young. Young in not necessarily in terms of the age, but young in terms of the experience that he has managing a team in top flight of English football. I completely agree with Miss that we should be winning some games that we've drawn. We've lost only 2 games, that 2 against Liverpool and Man City. Man City came too early for us. Yeah. Let's be honest. I don't think so. We were expecting anyways to get something out of that game, right? So we were quite okay with the performance also. So it was like an extended preseason game, which we took it as a free hit. That game was a free hit for us, basically. Liverpool, we were quite happy with the performance. But the assessment is that we should be more brave against some of the teams that we think are better than us. That I for once think that Arsenal game was there for the taking, especially when Neto equalized. The momentum was on our side. And there are some mistakes that we are committing again and again that we should not be committing. But that brings the manager into the picture, right? That he is also growing with the team that he has on his hands. And we had a lot of things to sort out first before the season had started, right? Because still there are a couple of players that we don't have an idea about, that how we are going to give them the game time. We've been lucky so far, touchwood, with the injuries, because now everyone is fit. Almost every player is fit for selection right now. And hence it is creating this problem. What do you do with Dewsbury-Hall? What do you do with João Felix? Christopher Nkunku being sold and he's considering his future and whatnot. All of these rumors are popping up. See, if you would have only 15 players available, then which was the case last season, right? Because you had no option but to play Jackson because Nkunku was out for the season. You had no option but to play Disasi in some of the matches as the right back, or Gusto as the right back, or Petrovic as the goalkeeper, because you did not have those players available. But right now, manager is also figuring things out. We've been lucky this season that the teams that we are competing with for the top 4 place are also dropping points. So I take that luck, because last 2 seasons have been very, very bad. For Murphy's Law was in full effect in the last 2 seasons for us. And right now, if Spurs are being beaten at home by Ipswich after they have beaten Villa previous week, I'll take that result any day of the week, because as Miss said, that we have played some big teams, and not to be too negative, but we are still quite away from where we are supposed to be. But on the positive side, we are yet to play a promoted team, a newly promoted team. Like, we have not played Southampton, Leicester. Leicester, I think, is the next the first game after the break. So Leicester, Southampton, and Ipswich, we are yet to play. So completely agree with Miz on the points that pleasantly satisfied, but not very relaxed. There is a false sense of security, because one slip up and 3-4 teams potentially go above you. You've done okay against some of the good teams, but now you have to win these games, which are lined up, because Villa is not playing well currently. Leicester is there up for grabs. Then you play the newly promoted teams and Crystal Palace and whatnot again. I think Crystal Palace is the first game when the 19th game is done, I think. So all of these fixtures till December. I think December we should, this phase of the league, November after the international break, and December, I think we should be winning most of those games. And then we'll have a clear picture around Christmas that where we can go in this season.
Yeah. It's an interesting one as well, isn't it, Javon? Because I guess this period coming up, I agree, like, we should be winning, going on a bit of a run. I'd love us to go on a bit of a run. We had a bit of a run, mini run in all comps, because obviously when you got Conference League, it's a great opportunity to make that run even more extended than it would have been if you were in maybe Champions League or whatever. But we'll take it. You know what I mean? We'll take it shamelessly. After the international break, we've got an opportunity to go on a run, but obviously this poses different challenges now, because now maybe we will see more Enzo Fernandez, one of the players that I'm going to bring up later on, but there's going to be more low blocks. It's going to be different tactically. We're going to have to deal with those transitions, those counters a bit more maybe. So how are you feeling going into it? Because it's going to be a bit of a mental shift as opposed to the Newcastles, the Uniteds, the Villas, well, the Liverpool, sorry, the Arsenals.
I'm feeling cautiously optimistic. I know I use that term a lot, but here's why. Here's why. With the building on 2 points Baba and Miz made, when you look at the totality of what we've done so far, and not the narrow view of the difficult block, when you look at the wider view, like Miz says, it's in phases. First phase, how you kick off your league campaign. Barring City, we had a good run, right? Yes, when you narrow it down, we should have beaten Crystal Palace and Nottingham Forest based on the chances we created. But last season, I'm telling you, we lose those games. Not arguing with you, telling you we lose those games. Then comes the international break and the difficult block. I don't see us, barring Newcastle, we lost all of those games last season, did we not? Cool. Or drew. So now we're in a third phase, going after the last international break, where we play a mixture of teams. Promoted teams, mid-table teams, and then the teams like Tottenham and Aston Villa, which are 50-50 games, if you're kind of putting expectations on it. No, with all of that being said, Maresca got through the difficult block for the first leg of the season. No, it's more of a medium block, if you want to put it that way. With what we've seen him done with the difficult block, still managed to pull out draws. Yes, we were furious because a couple of them should have won, but did not lose and only lost to the 2 teams that should be winning the title for the league so far, which is City and Liverpool. You can't really complain when you look at it at a broader view. And now, going into this next leg, I genuinely don't see why we can't go on a run based on how we've seen him manage the team thus far and the availability of players that we have so far. So I'm really optimistic going into the upcoming fixtures. It starts with Leicester, and then we'll see what happens after that. Regarding the points, Yes, I get it. We're kind of on the balance, one loss and we're down here. But I'm telling you, last season, we'd already be down here. We wouldn't be in third place. It'd be some other teams. Because remember, last season, the only reason why we got fifth is because other teams kept dropping points. And it took us to the end of last season for us to capitalize on that. We're capitalizing from early. We're getting the benefit from early, you know? So if we just start taking care of business, as in W's in our column, from now, other teams are going to drop points. We'll already be in a position to take advantage. So I'm optimistic, and I think we'll be comfortably top 4 by December.
Do you know what's interesting? I think what you just alluded on as well, Matisse, is that the upcoming fixtures, these games that just finished before the international break, you could clearly see Enzo Maresca, and he's mentioned it a few times in the press conference as well, that if you can't win these big games, you don't lose it. So predominantly he didn't lose. Newcastle he won, which was a very good victory. Arsenal he managed to not lose. We could have potentially lost at the end. We could have won that as well. Man United was a bit of a downer. We should have gone and won that game, but I think he had safety first outlook about it. And obviously Liverpool we lost, and there probably could have been an opportunity where potentially we could have got a point out of that, right? Mm-hmm. And all throughout this phase, we didn't see the caliber of players that we've got waiting in the wings. Like, do you know what I mean? We've got players, firepower waiting, and he didn't want to utilize them too much. He said, you know what? I want safety first in this phase. After the international break, I'm keen to see no safety first, no more. Mm-hmm. I want to see you now use that firepower that's waiting and raring to go. I want to see how you go to Leicester. And if it is tight after the international break, midday start as well, always very tricky fixture. You got João Felix, Nkunku, all of those brothers. No excuses. That's a W for me. I'll tell you straight up today. I know previews are a long way away. I'm telling you straight up. That's a W, bro. That's a W.
Is it one of them where you do the review before the preview?
Yeah, it's one of those ones. It's one of those ones where Matisse goes up and he does a madness again where he starts the preview.
And all this.
Yeah, preview 6-1 maybe this time. Do you know what I mean? 6-1. Now, this one, it's a guaranteed W. There is no excuse. There is no way in hell Leicester should get anything out of that. All due respect to Leicester.
That's what I was going to say. Just all due respect, because they have been causing people problems recently.
All due respect. And I believe it's in Leicester as well. Is that right?
Yep. I believe so.
Even better for us.
And it's Maresca derby. It is the Maresca derby. This is the one.
I hope he does not play safe against his former club.
Bro, this is the one, Baba. He cannot. This is the one that he needs to go to Leicester and stamp his authority that, bitch, this is my team now.
Whoa!
This is my team now. Sorry. Leicester, like that. Do you know what I mean? So, because I don't want to hear any excuses in that game, bro.
No, this is his former club. So he's actually got personal relations with that club because he's just come from there. Dewsbury-Hall's obviously just come from there as well. They just lost to Man United 3-0. I was saying that they did pick up themselves a little bit because they have obviously a 4-2 loss against Arsenal, then beat Bournemouth, beat Southampton, lost to Nottingham Forest. That can happen. Drew of Ipswich and then lost to United. So, and they've picked up some points, which is better than how it's been for them. They've moved themselves up to 15th in the table, 2 wins out of the last 5. But yes, in no circumstance can we go there and not utilize our bench as we have been recently with the João Felixes, with the Nkunkus. And I want to start on going through those players, maybe 5 players actually in this episode that are fighting, literally, may as well be Jake Paul right now against Mike Tyson, fighting for their futures or fighting for their place at this football club, because there's been a lot of rumors circulating. And I'm wondering in this run, are they going to be, taken out because they're over importance, or are they going to be put in because they're not getting enough game time and they're not proving their worth? Because like you said, this is a fixture run where we should be seeing the sporting directors work over the summer to good use. The Dewsbury-Halls, the Felixes, 100%. The players that haven't really been able to contribute to the Premier League campaign so far, we should be now seeing some sort of contribution. 100%. But I'm start from the back because he's the guy that came up again in more briefings. I'm sure some of you have already spoken about him, but Roberto Sanchez is firmly number one. You know, they keep coming out with the briefings, with the confirmation that he is the number one. He's get the full backing of Maresca, the full backing of the board. Have you guys given up in your pursuit, as well as I, to see Jorgensen or see, I don't know, or does anybody here believe Sanchez can be the long-term number one, or you just, how are we with this? Because it seems to be the reality we have to accept now.
I've made peace with the fact that this guy is going to be our goalkeeper and he'll cost us points in the longer run. So we have to absolutely smash the teams that are below us. Can't expect us to, go to difficult places and grind out a 1-0 win. I don't think so that'll happen with this goalkeeper. He does not give me confidence. I thought that Bournemouth match might be the turning point in his career, that he might, turn up in the games now and do this consistently. But the next thing you know, against Brighton, he gives away that goal. I think Adingra it was. I don't remember who it was. So, see, now I won't question the goalkeeper, or I won't be frustrated why Sanchez is doing this and why he is not good enough. I will be blaming the manager now. It has to be put on the manager now, that it is clear that this guy has been costing you points. It is clear that he is not good with his distribution, and the style of play that you want to implement requires you a goalkeeper who is good with the ball, who plays out with from the back. Okay, he has been a decent shot stopper, but I think it's a basic minimum that you get with the goalkeepers these days. Like, people who defend Sanchez are like, at least he's a good shot stopper. Bro, if you're playing for Chelsea Football Club or in the Premier League, all the 20 goalkeepers are decent shot stoppers. I think that Sells from Nottingham Forest is a better goalkeeper than Robert Sanchez. He was on drugs when Nottingham Forest was playing against us.
Yeah,
He's a decent shot stopper. Aaron Ramsdale is a decent shot stopper. Neto, the backup goalkeeper who used to play for Bournemouth,
Kepa has become a decent shot stopper for Bournemouth.
Kepa has become a decent shot stopper. So it is like equivalent of us analyzing Enzo, and we say, oh, he pings those diagonals really well. That's a basic requirement from a centre midfielder that you need these days. Or a centre back who wins duels. Or at least he wins duels. If he's not good with his positioning or awareness, or he gives the ball away, at least he wins headers. That's a basic requirement of a centre back. Bro, you're 6'5". If you can't do that also, you're fucked. So it's a basic requirement of a goalkeeper. If a ball is shot at him, if he spreads out his arms, he should be stopping those shots. So we should not be gaslighting Robert Sanchez' save against Nottingham Forest, or a couple of saves that he made against Martinelli in that game. This is a difference between good teams and great teams. The moments that we have to capitalize, either Gusto would have scored, which will not happen in every game, or Sanchez should save that Martinelli shot at near post. Either one of those. Either you win 1-0 or 2-1. Choose your poison. I don't care. I want 3 points. So I'm not getting that from the goalkeeper, I'm pretty sure. So attackers or the people who we don't expect to score have to turn up. And not in... We've been like analyzing the stuff. If it hadn't been for 2 bangers in 2 consecutive weeks, we'll be, all doom and gloom right now. Caicedo saved us against Man United. Neto saved us against Arsenal. And that will not happen again and again and again and again in every game week. So the keeper needs to turn up. If he had saved that Bruno Fernandes penalty, I would be like, okay, let's give him some time. It's not like that he's an elite penalty stopper also. Okay, he saved that Evan Nelson penalty against Bournemouth. I'm okay. But I've seen a lot from him already. Last season, I also saw him. We all saw him. 11 games is a good enough sample size, in my opinion. Good enough time. He's had 1 decent game and not a lot of performances to rave about. So if he continues to be the number 1, fine, but that will be on the manager now rather than the goalkeeper. Because you've got Jorgensen in your ranks, Bettinelli is there, Petrovic you let go deliberately. I know ownership makes a lot of decisions, but right now it's not like Jorgensen is someone who we are looking to sell off, right? He's there in your squad. Try him out. So you have been given the full authority and you have been handed over the keys to the squad. So I will question the manager now. If Sanchez fucks up in the next game against Leicester, I will question the manager if we end up losing points.
Yeah, I think for me, I don't know about you, Javon, but the more mistakes I see from Sanchez, and I still look at that goal against Arsenal where you could have suffocated Martinelli, you could have closed down the angle even more. You shouldn't be getting beat at your post. You shouldn't have time to take a touch.
Bro, Curtis Jones against Liverpool.
Yeah, bro.
Even him flapping on crosses against Arsenal, I'm like, why are you not collecting and catching that? You have two hands, you could have caught it, you still flapped at it. I think he has the most errors, or no keeper has more errors leading to goal than him this season. He has 3. I think he's level with the Ipswich keeper, Muric or something with 3.
In Europe, not even Premier League.
Yeah, in Europe. So, and Chelsea fans, they won't be surprised by that statistic. As much as people in the media, it seems, keep throwing this, save percentage in our face. He's got great save percentage. We're like, okay, but we know something's up here because we know we've seen problems and mistakes from him. So where's the other statistics? Why are you hiding?
That is such a misleading stat. First of all, you have to see the quality of chances that you concede. And in the quality of chances that you concede, in the high XG chances that you concede, how many saves he has made in those chances? That you have to look at.
Yeah, it's true. Because if I shoot at you, Baba, and it's straight down the middle of the goal 10 times and you save all 10, and it's
100% save percentage.
100%, I'm like, wow, he's got 100% save percentage. If I shoot against Miz and I'm putting them all in the top corner and he saves 8 out of 10, it's 80% save percentage.
Shit goalkeeper. Miz, you're a shit goalkeeper.
Do you know what I mean? But Javon, because the last thing I was going to say, Javon, was I guess if he keeps making errors and he's still in that team, not only is it on Maresca, but it's also making that Jorgensen signing a little bit pointless or confusing, because do we not trust? It's partly us over trusting Sanchez, but it's maybe also us not trusting Jorgensen enough to actually compete with Sanchez, which then asks the question, why sign Jorgensen in the first place?
Mm-hmm. And that seems to be a theme with everyone from the quote unquote B team, innit? There's not much people from the quote unquote B team that you say, okay, you can put him in if a player's having a stinker or whatever. But regarding Robert Sanchez, man, I'm gonna pull another Sterling. I'm just gonna hope and believe that he leaves my club. I was the only one who believed Sterling would have left, that he's left, barring on loan. But when it comes down to Robert Sanchez, at this point, I'm getting to the point where I'm getting numb to it, if I'm being honest. If the manager is not gonna drop him, he will face repercussions from the media, from the fans, and even from pundits to say, okay, enough is enough. You got to drop this guy at some point, right? I don't know if it's going to take him taking up the ball and throwing it in his own net for that to happen. The other point to that is we haven't seen enough of Jorgensen play for this team to say, okay, let's see if he's as bad as Sanchez or if he's better than Sanchez. But again, that's still on the manager. The manager has to make the decision. The buck, when it comes onto the goalkeeping position, that stops with the manager. It would be different if we tried Jorgensen and see, wait, he's worse than Sanchez, play Sanchez again. And then that's a whole different conversation. But the fact that you haven't even tried Jorgensen, when Sanchez has made mistakes directly leading to goals, is telling. And I know the goalkeeper position is a bit different, because if you immediately switch out a goalkeeper, you knock his confidence, and it's really hard. It's really difficult to get back. I get if he's trying to protect the goalkeeper. I get if he's trying to persist with it to kind of protect his confidence. But how much more can we suffer? Because look at the Arsenal goal. I'd rather he closed down the angle and Martinelli passes it off to the guy that was next to him. I forget who it was, and he scores, versus you scoring at your near post. I'd rather that happen, because then it's on the defenders and not the keeper. You understand? When Curtis Jones get that ball, take him out, clear him out. If it's a penalty, it's a penalty, but don't let him control and score from there. I could go the Brighton game. I could go down the checklist that, for those who don't know, I'm a coach. You go down the checklist. These are basic things you tell your goalkeeper. These are basic things you cover. So, and even when you look at the attribute that people are saying we put him in goal for, and the attribute that Maresca kind of lauds him for, there's games where he's not under pressure, he's on the ball, and he passes it to the opposition shirt. Like it's frustrating to see that there's a glaring problem here. We need a fix, but he still chooses to continue with the problem, and it's frustrating because if I could just have one sit down with Maresca, the real Maresca, not you, Baba, but the Maresca, and I'll just ask him why Sanchez.
Yeah,
I think I've got an angle as to why it might be Sanchez. I want to just play a little bit of a devil's advocate here. He might be sort of in a situation. See how Maresca never holds back on any of the players. Like so far, he's been quite ruthless about many players. Yeah, Ben Chilwell, Mudryk, Madueke, João Felix, and Nkunku, you name it. He's been very, very straightforward. I think this is where he's playing it in a different manner. Like he's sort of looking at it and thinking, well, I really have two goalkeepers, right? Because everyone else is either on loan or they're not yet in the team, this or the other. I think he's looking at it in the sense that I cannot be talking about Sanchez like that publicly because then I really corner myself with Jorgensen. Whereas talking about publicly in regards to Mudryk, so what? I've got other options that I can try out. Talking about, for instance, Madueke, I've got other options. Talking about Nkunku, I've got other options. And it's for their benefit. You better start waking up. I talk negatively about Sanchez. I better hope Jorgensen turns up for me because I could be in deep trouble then. So I think I truly do believe deep down, I don't think Maresca really believes in Sanchez. And I know our man, Robert, I know you're watching. Robert.
Robert's got to stick together, do you know what I mean?
I know you're watching, Robert. I know you think Sanchez is the bee's knee for us. Believe me, he is not, brother. He simply is not. I think Robert Sanchez, any other club, he would be a number 2. He's an okay goalkeeper. But as Javon said, his strongest suit is meant to be his ball playing ability. And sometimes he's literally, that ball playing ability is putting us in deep danger. I believe the one that Baba said against Brighton, it was his ball playing ability that got us into deep trouble. So, look.
And the way he concedes the goal, bro, like he acts as if the whole world conspired against him for that mistake.
It was never my fault. It was my legs.
Lays the ball straight.
It was my legs. Talk to them.
I remember this one clip.
What the hell, bro?
I'm sorry. I remember this one clip where he was trying to pass the ball out quickly from the back, and then he threw it into the opposition's back. The way he tosses it, it hits the opposition player, and there's
on their back.
And Gusto, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Matiz, I don't know how much cricket you watch, but Miz and Javon will definitely get this reference. There's an English batsman called Ben Stokes. So whenever he gets out, so he acts as if the world conspired against him, or the pitch had some volcano that erupted in front of his eyes, or the ball just went the other way mysteriously. He'll play down the wrong line, he'll play a completely bad shot, and he'll act like, oh, what the hell just happened? Every single time that he gets out. So Sanchez is the same. Whenever he commits a mistake, it's like, oh my God, where the hell were you, Fofana?
He starts screaming at
Bro, you're literally passing it to the opponent striker. What do you expect me to do over there?
I remember when he tried to switch play, and I can't remember who was on the byline waiting to take the ball down, but he's obviously overhit it, so it's gone over the head of the fullback or the winger or whoever it was.
It was the winger.
And he's like, oh, it's like, what? You want me to be taller?
Yeah.
I'm only so tall. The ball was here. I'm here. I've jumped. I can't get any higher. I've not got springs in my shoes. I've not got Ronaldo's leap. Like, I can't get that.
I remember that vividly. It was out to the left side. And I think Mudryk came on at the time and he was trying to utilize Mudryk's pace. Bro. That's mind-numbing.
But Ben Stokes is clutch. Robert Sanchez is not.
Do you know what? There's obviously been plenty of cases, right? So this is why I think he's just... Because obviously Jorgensen is young. and he's just sussing him out. He's just watching him. The day when Jurgensen blows Maresca's mind,
How?
I don't know. Whenever it happens,
it ain't getting blown in the Conference League, bro.
but obviously he'll get to see in training. He'll get information from the goalkeeping coaches and whatnot. The day Maresca gets that epiphany, that opening, that you know, the vision that, okay, you know what, he might be ready. Watch him switch that conversation in the press conference about Sanchez. Watch him do that. I just think
Brother, if you need a vision to replace Robert Sanchez.
you know why though? The reason why I'm saying is that I don't think he's completely feeling ready about Jurgensen either. That's the issue. That's because we're not talking about Robert Sanchez and Diogo Costa from Porto. Do you know what I mean? We're talking about Robert Sanchez and Jurgensen. It's not like Jurgensen is miles ahead because we don't even know that ourselves. So until Maresca kind of knows that himself, then only he's going to switch over. I think right now he kind of feels, I don't want to shoot myself on the foot and then bring in Jurgensen, put that goalkeeper in immense pressure to now perform for me. And he could be in trouble. If he doesn't,
put
then
my tail
Sanchez
back between my legs to go and get Sanchez.
Yeah, if
but
he
when
doesn't,
you said vision, I'm thinking like Wednesday Adams. I'm thinking that's a Raven. Like what kind of
That's
level of vision this brother need to? I'm thinking me with my glasses. You know what I mean? I'm thinking how many different visions do you need to see this?
But you know what, Matisse? Like if Jurgensen right now, if he does bring him in and he doesn't work out, and he has to, you know, crawl towards Sanchez. Like Sanchez been sitting in the bench going, "Oh, you're back to me now."
No. But you know what, Miss? That's a very bad look on the recruiters. Then,
of course,
like the people,
of course.
because Maresca will be like, "This is what I got to work with," and both the goalkeepers are absolute duds. Can't make a sickless save to get a clean sheet.
That position was one of, and this is why when the window is going on, it's very difficult. Not only to keep up with all of the different players we're looking at, because most of the time we don't know who they are. So now we've got to go and look at. First of all, we've got to, in our heads, make the judgment of, is this person even worth looking at? Is this really actually going to happen? Or are we just being linked via an agent or by articles or whatever? And B, we're spending so much time going in from one player to the next to the and it's like, we as Chelsea fans online, it was like, you getting any dopamine? No. Dopamine's gone. Dopamine's gone at this point because everyone's just so like just exhausted. Do you know what I mean? It's like having sex 9 times in one day. Everybody's just like, forget it, man. I've had enough.
No, I don't mind that. I wouldn't mind that. That's less of that, Matisse. Listen.
But goalkeeper, striker, these are like, if Jackson was to fall injured, Lord heavens, because Nkunku doesn't look comfortable up there. And that's how I'm going to segue this naturally to him, because he was linked with Manchester United. And it was sad, but I didn't actually have much of a outpouring of anger for the link. I was like, I rate him. I think he's a talented player, but I can't actually see where he fits in unless it's in the 10 and Palmer on the right. But the manager doesn't want to play Palmer on the right because he wants an out-and-out winger, a touchline winger, someone that he can, you know, use to stretch the pitch, use to take on players, because he hasn't got an overlapping fullback, because he does invert them or tuck them into defense. So that also plays a part as to why the repercussions of playing Palmer out on the right wing, I think people sometimes skip and overlook. Last season when he played there, he had gusto at going up and down, which means, you know, you're tucking in Cucurella instead, which means it might not be Lavia and Caicedo in there. It might, you know, it might be, I don't know, Enzo again. I don't know. But the thing is, there's so many, as we discussed in the last episode, there's so many, because this is pure system, this team. It's not really too many individuals. It's pure
Tactics
system.
and system, how it should be.
It's pure system. When Cucurella can't invert into the midfield, then Enzo can't play in the 8 as a box-to-box. So that means Lavia's got to come in. So that means Colwell's got to go centre-back if Cucurella's going in the back 3, which means now Gusto's got to become the 8. And if Gusto's not the 8, we want it to be James, but James ain't fit enough. So, if he's coming inside, then Palmer can't go to the right because we don't want Palmer being a touchline winger. And it's just like, there's just, everything leads to each other. Do you know what I mean? With Nkunku, because we signed him so long ago, he's 27. I'm thinking, he's not really that young. And that works against us as much as it does him, because it's like, you don't even have the whole development thing going for you. He's in his prime. We forget this. We think Nkunku's just another young guy. He's 24. He's got all the time in the world. He's 27.
Yeah.
He's in his prime. Nkunku should be getting 20 goals in a Premier League campaign right now. He shouldn't be in the B team playing against Conference League. He's trying to be in the World Cup France squad. He's trying to start for France with Griezmann getting older. You know, with Giroud getting older. He's trying to start. Forget being the squad. He's trying to start. If he didn't pick up that injury that kept him out of the last World Cup squad, he would have been there and he could have potentially been starting. It's not like France have loads of 10s. Pogba's only just coming back from his whole situation. So it feels like unless we find a solution for Nkunku, and Nkunku also has to play well and earn it and on merit, because when he's played up front, I think he's been pretty anonymous at times, which is why I've always felt like he needs to play in the 10. But obviously, we know everything. You know, every action is a reaction.
Again,
and
but
the
he's
system.
given a start also in the league, right? In that role.
I have a sneaker thing for this, right? And hear me out, because it's going to kind of... It's an idea that I got from the last argument we have before we got to the striker. Remember when Nkunku was playing in preseason, where did he play? He played as an attacking 8 in that 10 spot, right? And in preseason, we kind of saw 2 of those. And just one DM, and that one DM was Lavia, right? In this upcoming run of games that we have for the relegation teams, why not play Palmer and Nkunku as the 2 10s or attacking 8? Have your inverted fullback step in and play as a makeshift DM, sit beside a Caicedo or a Lavia, right? To give him some game time, because I think it's fair to say we're going to come up more low backs than we did in the last that we did before this international break. So that's a solution there to give him a run of games. Because I was having this conversation with on a different show, Casually CFC, and I simply said, when you have the caliber of Nkunku and what his potential could hit for Chelsea, you have to try and garner that out of him. You know, to get that out of him, you have to put him in a position where he's going to be successful. And you just got to make it work, bro. You can't have Palmer on the bench and you could have an aide to Palmer or someone that's could potentially be at a world-class level just chilling on the bench. And then when you see these links with Manchester United come in, given who Manchester United's new manager is, who plays with 2 inside 10s, by the way. So he would have a position for him, and then we could see Nkunku go and potentially cook, and then we'd be like, oh, why didn't he do that for us? Do you understand? So I genuinely feel in this coming games, it's a chance for you have a bit more leeway to say, okay, maybe against Leicester, see what Jurgen's got. You know, I can make changes after if it doesn't happen. Let's see what Nkunku got starting.
Yeah, you've also had the issue of Palmer being like double teamed and marked out the game. I'd rather have the free man, which obviously Miz alluded to about Gusto being the free man. I'd rather the free man be Nkunku.
Exactly.
If Nkunku's the free man who's got to play that pass, who's got to take that shot on the edge of the area, who's got to crash the box, and make it a 2 with Jackson in the box when the cutbacks and the crosses come in. Now suddenly we're committing more numbers into the box, which is something I was complaining about weeks ago, which we're not committing enough numbers into the box. Suddenly now we've got options, because when Liverpool were scoring all those goals in their front three of Salah, Firmino, Mane, now don't get me wrong, Mane crashing the box with aerial ability far better than our left wingers. You know, Firmino getting his head on things and picking his corners far better than Jackson. But numbers committed into the box is key for chaos, for confusion for the backline. Who do I pick up? Oh my God, there's so much commotion. One little nick goes to someone else, then they smash it home, you know, ricochets. We don't create enough chaos. We already know we're losing from a physicality standpoint. We don't even create enough chaos. Nkunku in the air, apart from that one miss that he had, I think it was against, was it Man United or I don't know.
Nottingham Forest when Nottingham
Forest when the cross came in from
Mudryk cross.
Apart from that, he can head the ball to a decent level. You know, we need more options in there. So that means then what you're saying is you sit Lavia and Enzo on the bench for that system, obviously, because Caicedo is not going anywhere.
And here's my thinking around that. Right, it's depending on the opposition. If you can get, let's say you give it a try against Leicester and we completely smash Leicester. there's not to say you can't start it against a team like Aston Villa and then make changes at halftime if it's not working. And that the biggest thing for me, what that does is you don't have a fullback that's not supposed to be doing anything in the attacking third, running up there, taking shots, everybody getting frustrated at Gusto when he's not an attacker. You have a player that's naturally suited for that position, right? And then the fullbacks can do what their job is, defend. Whether it's inverted or whether it's out wide, your job is to defend. So you're doing that naturally. You get you see how the picture kind of starts developing.
So,
and then, or
the only thing with that, and this is where I guess Miz, I don't know what you thinking. I would like to see Reece James starting in right side centre back, right? And then that means I'm inverting Cucurella. But that means obviously, as you mentioned before, Colwell goes out wide. And that's something that maybe we don't want to see, because when Colwell's out wide defending in wide areas, sometimes he gets caught or sometimes he can't handle it. And he's always been the centre CB. And I'd love to see maybe even Renato Vega playing the left side centre back, or maybe it's, I don't know, Badia Shil, but well, maybe whoever will cope better in wide areas. But yeah, I mean, that's the only, I guess, hiccup with it, isn't it? I don't know.
And that is an issue, as Javon said, against certain oppositions, I think. I think what Maresca is someone who does his homework. He absolutely does his homework. I think the way Maresca is going to really look at this is, after the international break, Leicester, he's going to try and work out what percentage, like what is the percentage, what is the probability that this team is capable of hurting us. He's going to look at their attackers. Are they the same attackers as Arsenal's? Are they the same attackers as Liverpool's? Naturally, Leicester's attackers are less calibrated, like in terms of their finishing ability. I want Maresca to look at his defenders, to look at Levi Colwell, to look at Wesley Fofana, to look at whoever else is starting and say, I'm going to maybe play with one less pivot player here. And I expect you guys to handle business against this Leicester team that I generally don't rate to score as freely as maybe an Arsenal lineup or a Liverpool lineup. So I'm about to take a risk here by taking away, let's say, a Lavia or Enzo from midfield and get Cucurella to invert so that I can play a Nkunku up front, because I don't want to continue with the nonsense of Malo Gusto to be in that position. I need someone who's going to be able to score goals. So I'd be looking at my defenders and going, I don't really rate Vardy at this level anymore. I expect you lot to be handling business 1v1 against him. I expect you lot to be handling business against who's this other player that Leicester has? Mavrididi or something like that up front.
Steffi Mavrididi.
Yeah. I expect you guys to handle business. So that's number one I'd be talking about. That if I'm Maresca, I'd be saying, on a probability wise, I don't think their attack should be able to hurt our defense. Now, the second thing, going back to Matisse's point about Wesley Fofana and Levi Colwell, I think in this case, Matisse, it shouldn't matter too much. Against Liverpool, against Arsenal, I want my main ball playing CB to be potentially in the middle. But against Leicester, it shouldn't matter too much whether he's in the middle, whether he's slightly to the left. He should be able to play those diagonal balls or those balls through the center equally well. And he shouldn't be too afraid to be a little bit wider, because who's Leicester's wide man? Do they have a Mo Salah, Leicester? Do they have a Saka? Who's Leicester's got on that right side, on our left side? Who they got? I don't even know. Do you guys know?
I think it's that Argentine that used to play for Brighton.
Bonanote or whatever. The guy from...
Decent player.
He's okay, but you're telling me I'm not backing Levi Colwell to take care of that brother. Because if I'm not able to back, then I have serious questions about Levi Colwell.
Just a point to add to your point, Miss. Aren't we expected to have more possession of the ball as well? So really, those moments that we're concerned about should be moments far and few between. So it goes to what Miss is saying. Like, this is a game that you should be trying this.
Yeah, and as you said, Javon, those moments should be far and far between. I expect those rare occasions, Levi Colwell to, bro, you lock him down. No excuses. You are playing for Chelsea Football Club, brother. You are facing Bonanot or whoever is on that side. But you are knotting him up. You are knotting him up.
It's another thing. The way how Palmer has played kind of poorly in the last couple of games. If you do realize his positioning has been drifting over to the left side in the middle of the park, trying over to Neto's side. If we can have Palmer back in that right half space where we know he cooks, and still give aid to Neto or whoever plays left wing, do you know we could be eating? Palmer back in his best position. You have your touchline wingers, whoever you may choose. Jackson can get the ball from Nkunku, Caicedo, Palmer in the middle. It's there for the taking. I understand
for sure.
game.
From an attacking perspective, to add an extra person at half space is gold dust.
Yep.
But it's just defensively, do we have the physicality and the pace and the awareness? Because these are still young defenders, and that's the key here as well.
Throw him
Can
in the
they
fire.
handle the
Burn 'em up. Let 'em
responsibility?
grow.
I think
They're going to grow.
I think they should be. And this is where, going back to the point, Reece James comes back into the team again, fully expect him to captain it. He'll be RCB or, right back in defense. In the middle, you got Wesley Fofana and Levi Colwell, Cucurella on the left. I fully expect Reece James to marshal the troops here. You're the captain, brother. You marshal the troops. You let them know this is Leicester. We're beating them. Do you know what I mean? Imagine Jackson. You know how Jackson sometimes drops in a little bit. And then finally, opposition can't just simply double mark on Cole. Well, what you going to do about Nkunku? You're going to let him go? Yeah, he's just as good when it comes to finishing. Now the opposition has a proper conundrum. Do we follow Jackson through into the midfield and follow him and just allow these two brothers to get into the half space in behind? You got perhaps, I don't know, Madueke on the right. You've got, not Madueke because you're bringing in, would it still be Madueke?
It would still be Madueke.
Yeah.
Or Neto.
Or Neto,
And
yeah.
then Sancho on the left.
Yeah. So now the opposition's got hella decisions to make. Do you know what I mean? So it would only open up, like Jackson working through the middle will only open up other avenues in behind. So Maresca has to try this, and I think the level of oppositions that we're playing, it merits for him to do something like that. Especially against Leicester. I think the game after that is Aston Villa, I believe. Against Aston Villa, again, you can revert back to be a little bit more conservative, but at the same time, have that attacking ability as well. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
And if it comes off, it works. You know what? I can make this change to go all guns blazing. So you know what changes to make at what time,
So 2 more players in this area that I want to go to make it 3 and 4 out of the 5 for players fighting before we go to the last player. And I guess the situation could be similar for them because the way you just tactically outline the plan, they would also fit into it a lot easier because there's an extra half space 10 position to fight for. However, Felix and Chukwuemeka.
Dewsbury-Hall.
Wow, Dewsbury-Hall is going to leave till last as the pivot player, but Dewsbury-Hall, you can add into this as well because there's really, if you're tucking in a fullback and you're leaving Enzo and Lavia on the bench, Dewsbury-Hall is basically...
He doesn't make the squad,
He doesn't exist.
He doesn't make the squad, bro.
He doesn't exist. But he's not making the squads, which is why I'm bringing him up. Because I'm not involving Enzo or Mudryk or the guys that are just trying to find their way back into the 11. Because at least they're still getting game time. They're still involved. So they don't have no reason. I mean, this is Chelsea. I've seen quality players coming off the bench all the time. We had Andre Schürrle coming off the bench, impacting games. We have Anelka coming off the bench. Lampard, Ballack together in midfields. So that's just part and parcel of how it goes at the end of the day. But these guys are actually starving. These guys, Jorgensen was the first. I know it was mainly talk about Sanchez, but these guys are starving for minutes. Felix and Chukwuemeka, and even involving Nkunku, who has the best chance of playing in that double 10 position next to... Because to make a case for Chukwuemeka, he's the one that probably is more comfortable playing in centre midfield deeper from his youth ages and coming up through the ranks. He's more of a natural 8 as opposed to Felix and Nkunku who are forwards. And the big thing that the manager's always constantly talking about with these players is defensive balance, intensity in the press, what you do off the ball, the positions you take up off the ball. Because it's all well and good. From an attacking standpoint, I hear what you guys are saying. But when Cucurella has to go back to left back, he has to vacate back to left back off the ball. He has to get out to that winger because Colwell's not trying to be out there all day. He might shepherd him for a minute and then he'll want to go back into centre back and the whole thing will readjust back to how it should be in the back four. Who's going to be not leaving Caicedo on an island?
Yeah.
Who is going to be doing that shuttle bus run that Enzo Fernandez at times was doing early in the season and last season? And out of all the players, if Chukwuemeka could keep himself fit, I think he'd actually be the best player to do the up and down from, midfield to left half space and back into midfield. Because I know Nkunku can't really do it for long periods unless he's miraculously, more fit and more free than he was. And João Felix, no.
No, you're right, bro.
Just no.
Chukwuemeka is probably the right characteristic to play that. He's tall, so from an aerial standpoint as well, defensive or offensive, that's going to come in handy. He's pretty good on the half space as well. His technical ability is good, but the problem is his brother's not played enough football, man. He's not played enough football. Now, all of a sudden, I'm going to try. Like, he doesn't even play in the Conference League enough, Matisse. Do you know what I mean?
When he does play, he's kind of erratic.
Yeah, like even if he was playing in the Conference League, I could at least say, okay, he's somewhat, ready to go. I think the club's made a conscious decision here, and I think they've made a very clear one as well that Chukwuemeka is probably not part of the future. I saw rumors that potentially Ipswich is circling around, Chukwuemeka at the moment. I think this brother is probably going to be one of the very first ones come the January window where there has to be a solution for him. So, look, I'm the kind of guy, I look at how the club's thinking, right? Whether it's right or wrong, obviously that's up for debate. But if the club really thinks that they don't feel that he's someone who has a future with us, okay, well, he's not part of the conversation. But I agree, he is probably the right guy. But as I said, if he's deemed by the club as someone not part of the plans, then I'm only thinking about Nkunku and João Felix in the number 10. And I hear you, Matisse, off the ball, Kuku's going to get back into that left back position, and João Felix and Nkunku. Lads, this is it. You won minutes, and Maresca's been talking about defensive balance. You're going to have to give that. Because there will be parts of the games where you're not going to have the ball and you cannot leave Caicedo all by himself. Or else we're going to get opened up in midfield, even by Leicester. Even by Leicester, because of the sheer numbers that they're going to have in midfield. They're just going to absolutely swarm us. Do you know what I mean? So if this is where, if Nkunku and João Felix off the ball showcase to us that they can't work, I'm telling you, next summer, they'll be one of the first names that people are going to put their hands up for that. Yeah, these guys need to go.
Because even if the same conversation we're having, if you look at Palmer gets back and defend. Palmer drops back to help out when it's necessary. So if Palmer is doing it, why can't you? Do you understand? So, one of the things that plays into João Felix's wheelhouse is he can play out wide. I think he can play out wide better than Nkunku can. We've seen that at Barcelona. We've seen that at Atletico when they shuttle him out wide. When it comes down to the defensive aspect, if you're telling me you can't get back to defend against Leicester, then you have no hope in high water, in high hell, to play against these more serious opposition, which is why I'm picking out a team like Leicester to try this out, to see what your tracking back is like. Because remember, this will be your first significant Premier League minutes, barring City for Nkunku. If the manager takes a chance on you, this is where you have to put the work in.
But that's what frustrates me about that Newcastle. I don't think I don't know who don't know, but somebody don't know how important that Newcastle away game was. The opportunity they had to showcase from a work rate and from a technical standpoint that you could compete at a tough stadium against I'm glad Newcastle put a strong team out, because it was actual evidence for you to take to the courts and say not guilty. But you didn't take your opportunity. Do you know what I mean? It was so frustrating to see. It wasn't just a nothing game. I think that was an opportunity for a lot of these guys to prove to Maresca that they can play against a high caliber team that are fighting for top 4 at their ground in a tough game. And on and off the ball, they are able to deliver. And because they failed that test, I was thinking, whoa, this is no good. because now you're back to Conference League. And you ain't proving nothing there. So, but it is what it is. I mean, maybe the FA Cup, if we get a tough, I don't know. So, extension to the question, but if we got, in the FA Cup, if there was, say, a team we got away from home, say Aston Villa, in the third round, would you guys want to give these guys an opportunity? Or is it based off this run that we're about to have?
They say, because that's one of the only cup competition left, I do not want to risk it. If it's a Aston Villa, it's kind of touch and go, because you have to give them minutes if you're not going to give them minutes in the Premier League. But, all right, that's a game that you would do a healthy mixture. You would start some of the first team players. You would start Nkunku and Felix and Mudryk, because those are the 3 attackers that kind of deserve starting minutes, and then the rest of the A squad, and then you rotate.
Okay.
That's what I would
do. Look, I know, by the way, I think, Baba, I think you might need to go or something. I saw a private message.
Yeah, bro.
Okay, we're going to wrap up. I just seen the chat.
I was just going to say that in those matches, you have to, just to keep the squad harmony, you probably do need to give minutes still to the B team or the players that are part of the B team. But at the same time, the competition's so immense. Like, we need to do something about these competitions. I agree with Javon. You might have to just have the right balance, man. You don't want to be where you absolutely shun out all of those players, because then we've already started seeing rumors about Nkunku. Yeah, we've already started seeing rumors about Nkunku, and these are probably not fake rumors either. I genuinely think his agent is probably in the market for a lookout. You don't want to get into a situation where come the FA Cup matches and you're still not playing some of them, and now João Felix's agent's talking. Now someone else is. And before
Dewsbury-Hall's agent's talking, Felix's agent's talking, Mudryk's agent is talking.
And then Maresca's like, am I going to be talking to agents all day long, or am I going to be preparing for matches? So,
and then the questions in the press conference start, and this player's unhappy. No. So yeah, it is difficult. I think we've had the honeymoon period where the players kind of have to trust Maresca on what he's saying in terms of, we're going to give you minutes. But it's very clear from what Badiashile showed in that press conference, which was, I'm not really trying to play the Conference League. I'm trying to play the Premier League. And I don't really know why I'm not playing Premier League, which was odd, because I thought your performances were quite clear as to why you weren't playing Premier League, to be honest. I don't think you need to ask. You just go and reflect. Do you know what I mean? Go repent. But they don't want to play Conference League. They don't want to play Noah. They know what the big fixtures are. They know what their national team coaches are looking at. They're not looking at no Conference League fixtures. They're looking at the Premier League. So as much as we could say that we've got all these games to share out, everybody wants to play the important games. Nobody wants to play Conference League against Noah's Ark if they're not playing Premier League against Aston Villa.
Do you remember when Thomas Tuchel had similar issues, where it was said in the articles that in the preseason you could clearly see there was 2 groups. There was the Hakim Ziyech, Lukaku, and all of those bad boys for life. You know what I mean? They were in one group, and then Thomas Tuchel's real players were in one group. And it created a big division in the team. It wasn't healthy, because both set of the groups kind of knew that, you think you're too good for us, huh? You think so we are now maybe starting to see the first phase of even the players. You know how we talk about the team A, team B, the fans talk about that.
Yeah,
these players are not stupid.
They don't want to hear that. Nkunku don't want to hear that he's in team B.
He's in team B. But Nkunku knows, I don't get picked for Premier League matches. I get picked for Conference League. I must be team B.
And some of these players don't want to get relegated to team B.
So you don't want a situation where Team A players don't want the Team B players to come into the cafeteria and sit with them. Do you know what I mean? They're not sitting here, bro. This Team A spots. You get somewhere else and eat. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
It's not a good feeling.
before we wrap up, because I know Bubba's got to go and I'm going to have to nab his recording as well. But Dewsbury-Hall is definitely looking like he's in Team C. Before we wrap up, just is there any chance of this guy making it out of the Shadow Realms, or is he just done? Because he's linked with Aston Villa.
Bye.
He don't make the bench for squads. Andre Santos, I need in my squad next season. I don't really care who has to be
The
sacrificed. I'll be
narrative
real.
changes quickly, Mati, is when a couple of players get injured, right? It's
Yes.
still a very long season. You never know what's going to happen in terms of the fitness and the availability. But let's assume and let's hope for the best that every player is available till the end of the season. I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
Only in case if we have some players missing, in case of suspensions or in some league chats are revealed of certain players.
Yeah.
Baba, at that
revealed
point,
doing some lines. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say this, but apart from that, I really don't think that these players will.
Baba, even then, you're asking for 3 of our DMs to get injured. You're asking for
And not invert a fullback.
exactly. So his
Yeah,
position
I
is
mean,
kinda-
it's quite difficult, but yeah, maybe when the fixture congestion is there and you got game every 2 days, maybe
you could
then
rotate.
they might feature, but otherwise, no chance.
And I think at the end of the season, if he even gets that far, because obviously January people will be looking at him as well. I think if that is all he is able to get from this season is those charity minutes, I'll call them, because basically we're asking for suspensions, injuries, and not asking, but that is what he needs to play. I don't think that will suffice for him. I think he'll be looking for regular game time in the Premier League, which I think he's capable of getting. He can play for a mid-table team of Bournemouth or someone and play every single week. I think he's good enough to do that. But at Chelsea, with Andre Santos at Strasbourg and Okechukwu, don't rule him out. I know he's struggling at Southampton, but he's still there. And we've seen Gilmore struggle at Norwich and then go to Napoli. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. But we'll wrap up there. Unless anybody else has anything for Dewsbury or any more hope in the convo here. No.
Nah, bro. Sad day for Dewsbury-Hall, bro.
Not sad at all. Pointless sad. Didn't need to be here.
There you are. Miz, let the people know where to find you, bro. It's been a pleasure as always. Great show.
Yeah, man. It's been fantastic. The other side of the coin. Just daily news, whatever is up. I'll be giving my opinion on it. Obviously, it's international break. It's easy. No double uploads at the moment, but you're at least going to get one upload a day where I cover some things. So follow, man. Subscribe. Yeah, the other side of the coin.
There we are, guys. Make sure you subscribe. Link will be in that description right there as well. Bubba, let the people know where to find you, bro. It's been an absolute pleasure as always.
Yeah, bro. Again, many congratulations to you. And
Thank you,
just
brother.
the start, as I always say. So 100K, 200K, 300K. Quickly, I hope that you get all these milestones. Same place as always, Drogbaba. Like, share, and subscribe. International break is there, so I'm chilling a bit this week. But next week onwards, the regular content will be on the channel.
100%. And Javon, brother, let the people know where to find you, bro. Pleasure.
Follow me on the Finalist Podcast. Like, share, subscribe. Like everybody, international break. So it's kind of slow. I'll be on a few shows here and there. And yeah, look out for the content.
There you go. Guys, make sure you subscribe. Everybody's links are in the description. For me, smash up the likes on this. Comments, as always, welcome. We want to see what you guys are thinking. I'll be responding. And looking forward to making more content. Next week, we're going to have quite a bit dropping. I'll try and drop something every single day. I'm going to be doing a batch of recordings before I fly to Ireland. So I've got a couple, special people coming to London, it seems, as well, Saeed. So, when we come together, there's always some sort of anarchy that will take place. So stay tuned. And until next time, big up your damn selves in a bit, people. Peace. Come on.
Let's
Take care, everyone. Bye.